Welcome to Lady Boss Unplugged, everybody. My name is Molly Richards. I'm your host. I'm so happy you are here, and you are here for such a wonderful episode because a friend of mine is here. She is magical. She's basically a unicorn. She is beautiful. If you're watching the video, you can see right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure we look like sisters. I'm just saying. But she is a mom of 5. I love this. Her title is Professional Fun Creator and Professional Party Starter. Hello. This is awesome. So today our guest is Ashlee Latimer. Give it up for Ashlee, everybody. Welcome to Lady Boss Unplugged. This is Molly Richards, your host. I am beyond excited to empower you to overcome life's obstacles, to form new healthy habits, to cultivate a growth mindset, as well as bring in some super cool guests who will share their own kind of magic with you. Oh, and did I mention we'll have fun too? Heck yes, we will. Join me for weekly, unfiltered, raw, real, and encouraging conversations that inspire transformative change, that give you the tools to create a positive domino effect in every aspect of your life, and just have fun hanging out. Now, let's get unplugged. If you're listening to this in your car, you're doing a little cheer right now, I hope, little jazz hands with us. But I'm so happy that Ashlee is here. I've been begging for her to be on our podcast for a couple months, and today is the day. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Oh man, I got like emotional just now because I actually stalled on this podcast because you asked me in July, and I'm 42, going through changes and gained 10 pounds because of going through some perimenopause. And I was like, I can't go on the Lady Boss podcast because I'm not losing weight. And right now I'm not loving my season.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what? I probably have something inside of me to share because I am learning how to love myself in this season, and I'm learning the new changes that are going on in my body. And so if I can encourage somebody in that, why am I holding back? Why am I waiting? And so I was like, you know what? I am on a journey to love myself in this season. And so here I am. And so I'm glad
I love that you shared that. We are getting started, and I already have chills. I mean, I shaved my legs today, so much for that, because I have chills all over my legs.
Yeah.
But honestly, I love that you shared that and you are being so real. That's one of the things I adore about you, by the way, is that you are real and honest, and you're just like, this is me. And for you to share that with all of us is so wonderful because it's so relatable. As before we got on the podcast, we had talked about this a little bit too, how this is just what we deal with as women, as moms. And some of it sucks, right? But being real about it. And then for you to show up anyway is so inspiring. So I want to say thank you, because that's being brave, And so thank you so much.
Well, I think if I'm going through it, like, I think sometimes we put ourselves in these categories. We're like, if I'm going through it, the world wouldn't understand, but there's probably somebody else who's going through this right now, or they're going to go through it and they feel very alone. And I was like, if I can show up in this, then it's worth it. It's actually worth it to push through a season if you help somebody else through. And we need to rally together as women and like really encourage each other. And so that's my favorite thing.
Agree. Yeah, I love that.
So I love to encourage women and families and entrepreneur families. And so that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And so I got to do it every day, no matter if I feel like it or not, or if I don't love the body that I'm in right this second.
Right. So. I love that. So I told Ashlee before we got on this, I totally stalked her on the socials, because that's what I do. Right. I'm like, I know her, but I want to like know her, just from what's on there. But like I said, you're like happiness specialist and everything, and you help entrepreneur families who want to change the world. Right. And what is your business name? And can you tell us more about that?
Well, the crazy story, it starts off where I was not an entrepreneur. And I didn't know that I married an entrepreneur. I thought I married a pizza delivery driver. Okay, everybody. And then he got these nice, fancy corporate jobs. And then when I had my baby was 6 weeks old. He's 17 now. My husband quit his job, his nice, safe, secure job that was paying all of the bills and more, right? And he's like, I am going to become a window cleaner. And I was like, say what? I thought that's what homeless people did, to be honest. So I thought, oh gosh, oh gosh. And so I kind of, what I like to say is I had a drug problem. I got drug into entrepreneurship,
Oh,
right?
that's
And
good.
I became an entrepreneur wife. And at first, I was Nagatha Naggy Pants. I was not a good entrepreneur wife. And then I realized one day when I walked into my husband's, when I walked into our bedroom, he had his hands between his head and like or his head between his hands. And
Mhm.
he was like so stressed out. And I'm like, you know what? This man's going to win no matter what I do. I should
Mhm.
clap and cheer him on. And so I've been on this journey to figure out entrepreneur wifehoodness, which has
Mhm.
turned into being an entrepreneur, like a big advocate for entrepreneur families. My kids are entrepreneurs, my husband's an entrepreneur, and then I myself have become an entrepreneur. And I've just been on a mission to help entrepreneur families
Ah,
change the world because I've really seen a glimmer into the freedom that it can create. And
yeah.
so right now we've had a few different companies. We've built and sold a few companies, but our company right now is a software company. It's a decentralized coaching program. We've had a small service business, a software company, and a coaching company, and we sold all of those except for the software company. And now we're training other people how to have a coaching company.
That
And
is
so I work
awesome.
inside of that, but now inside of our software has the Unicorn Squad, which is for entrepreneur wives to help. So I help coach entrepreneur wives, and then my kids help coach entrepreneur kids. And
Ah,
we have a journal and different things. So we've had lots of different businesses. We're trying to house them all. So it's
yes.
kind of a little messy, to be honest, but
But
we're
messy's
making it,
good. Messy's good.
more clear. So,
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I think being an entrepreneur mom is hard. I mean, I've had a couple businesses throughout my momhood and being a wife and all that, and I've gone through many times where it's like I feel bad, I feel guilty, but I have these
oh,
dreams, but I want to make money, but is that bad that I want to make money? Like all these things, you know? And so what do you like what are some of the things that women entrepreneurs struggle with most, and then what are some things that you've helped them with and you're just like, "Yes."
well, I think as women, we struggle with the just enough itis in
Mhm.
every area. And we can do this if we're a stay at home mom, if we're a working mom, if we're an entrepreneur mom, if we're just a wife, like we're looking at other wives, like we have this, like, am I enough kind
Yeah.
of like whispering in the background. And so, no matter what stage I have been in this journey, that's always been something I've been fighting, right?
Mhm.
Like, am I enough support for my husband when I'm just a stay at home mom? Am I enough of a mom when I'm trying to do this hustle and grind thing? But what's really cool is your kids watching you go for something really big and going all in on whatever you decide to do. If
Yes.
you want to be a stay-at-home mom who's sourdoughing it up, then you go all in and you do all of the sourdoughs, right? Like,
Yes.
I think going all in is something more important than what role you decide. Now, I'm
Mm.
not saying like go all in and abandon your family. I'm not
Right,
saying that.
right, right.
But I'm saying like the way that my kids, like I bring my kids to work with us, like they know that we're going all in, but we have a mission, a mandate, and a purpose, and we bring them along in the vision. And so I think watching us do this is so powerful, and that will never be removed from my kids' minds of
Mm-mm.
how we went for it.
Right, right. I've seen you and your family all on stage speaking. That's how I first got to know you. And I remember just seeing you on stage and with your husband and your kids. And I was like, okay, first of all, I love her energy and she always dresses cute and her smile and her body movements, like everything was just like, you're like, energy and magnetic and all that. It's amazing, infectious. But then when you talked about how you've done this and taught your kids, I was like, wow, that is so cool. Like, our world needs people like that. And for you and your husband to be leading them and showing them the way. And I love when I saw you speak the first time, you guys talked about doing hard things. And
Oh yeah.
we have your journal and everything, and my son was there actually at that event, and him and his best friend were there, and they were just like, this is so cool. And so you totally inspired them. That's so cool. Can you tell
Oh,
us more about all of that, like even like do hard things and all of that?
well, Do Hard Things has been like this power anthem for our family. But Do Hard Things actually came out of a very painful time.
Mm,
Sometimes pain can actually create our biggest fuel or momentum, right?
yes.
And so when my husband started his first company, at 6 months, when my kids was 6 weeks old, we went through a lot of pain and suffering. And I had 3 babies in 3 years at that time. Okay. So and at the 3-year mark, we have a 3-year-old business. And then I have 3 boys under the age of 3. And I felt like my husband's business was the other woman.
Yeah.
And our marriage was struggling. And I was like, hey, we need to fix this or we're getting divorced. And I remember my husband was like, you know what? If I systemize my business, because his business was started to crush it. Like it was crushing it. It was like making like 200,000 a month, right? Like it's like crushing it. But we had gotten crushed in the meantime. And so he was like, you know what? If I added systems to my business has a logo, my business has a manifesto, my business has core values and proprietary language. We have quotes all over our office. Why don't I do that for my family? If I surprise my employees and wow them, why am I not wowing my family? And so my husband went on this mission, and the mission was, we're Latimers, and Latimers do hard things. And so it started to become this rally cry of a reset of the Latimer family, of who we were and who we weren't. And then here is the family logo. That's the Latimer family logo right there. And we put it on everything. Like we have do hard things. Molly, I don't know.
I have a t-shirt too.
Yeah, we have t-shirts and stuff.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, like, I went crazy with this because it's been the manifesto that, like, it has been the rally cry that gets us through all of the hard things, like the hustle and grind season. That's what do hard things does. Like, if it's pretty bad, like, I'll be in traffic and like, I'm getting a little stressed out. Right. And I'll hear from, and I'm like starting to mumble things under my breath, and I'll hear from the background, my little daughter go, Mom, remember Latimers do hard things. And so it's been this anthem for our family. So it came out of a really painful time, but now it's pushed us in, and now it's become an anthem for lots of families.
Yeah.
We've given out thousands of shirts. People are obsessed with it. Yes. I'm actually starting a podcast called the Do Hard Things Podcast.
Awesome.
Interviewing families that are doing hard things and trying to change the world and living to tell the tale.
I love that.
My little joke was is that when I got a little crazy with all the do hard things, I got do hard things underwear. And this might be a PG-13 X-rated. And I'm pulling them out of the package and I'm excited, right? I'm like just getting swag on everything. And then they were for my teenage son. And I was like, you know what? These are nope. Nope. And it was just, sorry, that's like a little edgy for the
so
you
good.
Can edit that part out, but it was like,
I actually thought you got underwear for you.
That's like no, it was for my teenage son. I got him for everybody because I was like, oh yeah, like, but not thinking that was very inappropriate. So we have swag of everything do hard things except for underwear because those were banned from the Latimer household. But
that is so good. I love it. And I learned that saying from you. And then I remember seeing people with the shirts on at the event that we were at, and even going home, and it stuck with me. So even on the days where it's like, I don't want to work out, do hard things. And then 5 minutes into my workout, I'm like, this isn't so hard. Actually, this is amazing. I feel great. I don't want to do this today. Do hard things. Like, I just want to encourage everyone who's listening to this podcast, like, adopt this as well. What Ashlee is teaching us, because you can change your life from 3 words. For real.
The greatest things are on the like end of doing hard things. Like that's where you tap into this potential. Like there's so much more. I have grown so much as a person and as a family and as a wife from those 3 words. Those 3 words have radically changed my life. And has really given me freedom to show up differently. And so great things happen on the end of doing hard things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and then you feel empowered. You're proud of yourself. You're celebrating. It's like every time I quit things, I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I just follow through? I like self-sabotage, all that. It's like, just go and do the hard things, and then you'll grow stronger. Whatever your goal is, I just feel, thank you for, introducing us to that and having that as your motto, because it's over here at the Richards as well.
Oh, it should be everybody's motto, and it's not stealing it. Like, I gladly share it. Like, it is for everybody. Like,
Oh my gosh.
doing hard things. You know, that's something that the world has been teaching us a little bit differently, is that, you know, we have to do easy things.
Yes. Yes.
Everything is easy nowadays. And
Yes.
so the rewards, like, we're not getting the actual rewards that we want. So, like, when we do
Yeah.
hard things, everybody in the world or social media is like, "Oh, but there's an easy way,"
Right.
right?
A hack.
There's an easy way.
Yeah.
And I do like certain shortcuts. Like, I love
Yeah.
myself a crock pot, right?
Exactly.
I love myself an air fryer. Like,
Yes.
those
Oh
are
my
easy
gosh.
things, right?
Yes.
But I'm talking about, like, the way that we show up
Mm-hmm.
to our family and different things. Like, we got a little bit more in us. We can
Yeah.
do hard things.
No, I totally agree. So I read this on your website when I was looking, because y'all have to go check it out. You're going to give us the website in a minute, right? What
Okay.
is it, by the way? Just so we know it.
Well,
Your
right now we're taking everybody to warplan.com, but
war plan. Okay.
in a few weeks, you can go to honorandfire.com and
Yes,
we will
that's what I looked up.
yeah,
Okay.
so
I
honorandfire.com,
love it.
but right now we don't have anything available yet, but in a few
Okay.
weeks we're doing a new launch of
Woo!
all of our new things because, like I said before,
Sweet.
we kind of reorganized so that we could house it in one
I
place.
love that.
And so
You did the
there's
hard
gonna be a
things.
big yeah, so
So we'll have that all in the show notes for everybody who's listening to this. So, or watching the video, we'll have that there for you so you can go and check it out. But I love on the site, it said, stop feeling guilty for wanting more out of life, family, and business. And that totally struck me. It's like, women and moms, we totally do that, right? We feel guilty for wanting more. We're like, I'm good. That's like our safe way of like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any. I don't have desires. I don't have wants. And I think we're all just telling ourselves lies, right? And so I love where you're like, stop feeling guilty. So if you can kind of elaborate on that, I know you'll speak to a lot of women listening to this.
I'm gonna actually say something that's like maybe a really harsh truth right
Ooh,
now.
let's go.
Myron Golden, once we interviewed him about family stuff, and he said, you know, a lot of people tell their kids that they can do anything and they can be anything. But then they watch their parents do nothing and be nothing. They don't see you going for it. So if you want to instill into your children going big, living loud, like, as you can see, like, I say crazy things sometimes. I say the words backwards, but I'm like living loud, everybody, right? And
Yes.
I think the way that we show up imperfectly, trying to do the hard things,
Mm-hmm.
being authentic, I think that is the bigger issue that people don't talk about, is being your authentic self, right? And like, that's the part that I would feel guilty about, is if I didn't show up of who I am and who I
Right.
want to be.
Right.
And so now, knowing what I know now, I think I'd feel guilty on my deathbed if I didn't go for it. Like, that's
Totally.
really what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
People have all these regrets when they're, like, old and they're not in their, you know,
Yeah.
lifehood. What do you call
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
What do we call what we're doing right here, everybody? Like, when I'm
Um,
raising kids, like, growing the kids, growing the humans, trying to do the things. I'm
doing
not
all the
living my
things.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all the
All
things
the
and all the
things.
hard things.
Yeah.
Whatever this stage of life is called, I don't wanna have any regrets when I'm old.
Right. I totally agree with you. And it's funny because my kids are older than yours, like 23. If people listen to the podcast, they're like, yes, Molly, we know, but your kids are, mine are 23 and 28. And it's cool to see them talk. And they'll say stuff like, Mom, it's always been fun watching you just be your silly self and also be successful. It's been really fun watching you lead that. Like, it's cool that they've been watching, and I didn't know that. But now that they're older and they're succeeding and they're going for the things and they're doing hard things, and it's like they were watching that whole time. They didn't
Yeah,
have to, and they didn't say it. I didn't know, but I didn't have to do it for them. I had to do it for me so that then they could do it for themselves. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but it's just like really cool. And I think that I just feel like we stop because we are scared to do the work, and we're scared
yeah,
that we might fail, but who really cares? Like, you still
yeah.
have to try, right? Because what's the worst that can happen? You fail, big deal. Try something else.
Actually, I think it's really important, like, if we stay safe, that's actually dangerous for your kids to watch.
Mm-hmm. I
because
agree.
that means that they're not gonna go for it either, right? And I
Mhm.
will tell you, I'm not an expert in, like, curing mom guilt. It still gets, like, it's a sneaky little bugger, right?
It is,
And
yeah,
wife guilt and,
yeah,
like, just being a friend guilt, like, there's
yeah,
so many little sneaky things, like, the just, "I'm not enough,"
yeah.
that's sneaky, and it is very tricky to navigate sometimes, and so, like last week, I promised my kids, I'm like, "Hey, I'm making chili." And then it was like 4 days later because we had to, like it was we're in hustle and grind mode right now. And so it kind of worked out that day 4 and I felt like, "Oh my gosh, I have failed my children because they had to wait 4 days for their
For
favorite
chili.
meal." Now they
Oh
ate
my god.
food in
Oh
those
my
4 days,
gosh.
everybody, but my kids didn't care.
Right.
They celebrated. They're like,
Mhm.
it like made it almost more epic because
Yeah.
mom actually made chili,
Oh my
everybody.
gosh.
And,
It's
just
fun.
because I would forget to put it in the crock pot. It's a crock pot meal,
It's a crock
everybody.
pot. Oh my gosh.
And I just think that I
Oh shoot.
don't I battle mom guilt too. I'm not an expert in this
Oh yeah.
area, but I'm not gonna quit trying.
No, no, I know. I agree with you. And the guilt, it's like sometimes I'll have to question myself, like, why am I actually feeling guilty? This is silly. No one else thinks I'm doing anything wrong but me, And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's all
just
in
silly.
here. It's
Yeah.
all in here. You know what I really struggled with that I have conquered? I will tell you one thing that I am an expert in now, everybody,
Tell us,
is that
please.
I used to really feel guilty about self-care.
Oh,
Taking time,
mhm.
having quiet time. I used to really, really struggle in that area. Like, I would make all these excuses like, "Oh, I have to go get my hair done because of XYZ." Like, I would justify all these things as like, or
Yes.
I just need some alone time,
Yes,
right? I've got 5
totally.
kids and a husband
Yeah.
and businesses, and I realized that when I do get self-care, I start showing up differently for the people around me. Like,
Yep.
it is actually has flipped in my mind where I need self-care. I need to go in a thrift store and walk around and just be by myself,
I
everybody.
love
I
it.
love
I love
thrift
it.
stores.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I, need that time to reset because I start showing up differently.
Yep. Yep.
And they need me to show up differently. They
Yeah.
need to have a break from me too.
Oh my gosh.
They do.
That is awesome. But it's like when we feel depleted, everyone suffers, right? Like
Oh,
we're just not even
so
going to we're not even going to be affectionate toward our husband. We're not going to be loving or patient or kind to our kids. Like and all of that comes back to us and there's just a whole chaos. So it's like
yeah,
take that time, whether it's meditation, prayer, getting your hair done, exercising,
a hot
you know,
shower.
hot shower. Oh my gosh, when your kids are little, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I never knew even going to the bathroom was this exciting?"
Oh, oh, that is like
When
a
you have
win.
a
I
baby, you're
actually
like,
think that they should start giving out medals for
yeah,
moms that have young babies that get to go to the bathroom by themselves because I
yes.
feel like you win that day.
I know.
So if any of your listeners got to go to the bathroom by themselves and you have
Yes.
young children, you get a cupcake, everybody.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations. You get some birthday cake lean because I'm not
Oh
giving
my
it away, but
gosh.
I just feel like
Yeah,
you did it.
I know. It's so true. It's so crazy. So now we're talking about all your kids, 5 kids, which by the way is amazing. I had 2. I'm a total wimp. Okay.
No,
Um
no, 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 no. See,
5.
moms always do this.
Oh
They
my
do
gosh.
this because I have 5. They're like, "Oh, wow, I'm not as much of a mom because I had to." No. I'm telling you the hardest I actually think it's harder to have 1 or 2. Harder.
Okay.
Because I have the herd. I call them the
Yeah.
herd, and the herd protects itself, right? I
Yeah.
have other eyeballs helping me. Like,
Yes.
my son is 17, my oldest is 17, my youngest is 7. I have helpers. So,
Oh,
like, don't
mhm.
even just you did it. You
Yes.
crushed it. 0 to 1 is the hardest transition.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Do you know that I'm one of 9 children?
Um,
And yeah, my mom listens to this, so my mom's gonna be like, "Woohoo!" So 9 kids, and one of my sisters, the oldest one, is 12 years older than me, and then 11 years older, 10 years old. My mom had 9 kids in like 14 years,
oh,
but
wow.
she's
That's
like,
great.
yeah,
Not
like
all superheroes wear capes, but
yeah.
she does. Where does she hide it?
I know. So like my sisters helped raise me.
Yeah.
And so it's just like my mom's like, I couldn't have done it without them. Like, no, and sometimes she's like, I don't know what happened. Someone else was watching you or teaching you or this. It's just like, so I hear what you're saying.
And, moms with a lot of kids sometimes feel guilty or will feel pressure from people who don't, depending, because
Hmm.
women are actually sometimes harder on women
Yes,
than anybody else,
totally. Yeah.
you know? But some women will feel guilty if they have a lot of kids because they're like, oh, now I've put all this pressure on my kids to help me raise my other kids. I will tell you that like my boys, because I had 3 and then I had a break and then I had 2,
Oh my
my
gosh.
boys are better. They're going to be better men because they have had little sisters and have
Oh,
had
yes.
this whole herd mentality. So,
Oh, that is
uh,
so cool. That is so cool. I love it. Big families are so fun. Oh my goodness. I love
oh,
it. They're my best
we're
friends.
loud, we're
Yeah.
fun,
Yes.
we're a lot, but we
I
love
love
it.
it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so you have your businesses, your successful marriage. Hello, like 22 years, I think, high school
Yeah.
sweetheart. Whoop
Yeah.
whoop. And all of that, like, what do you feel is you take time for self-care. What are some other ways that you take care of you so that you can keep your head on straightish and do all the hard things and like, stay sane and healthy?
Well, there are a few things, and they are family systems that we have. Like, one of the things that we started doing back in the day is we go on date night. We go on date night every week,
Love
like
it.
non-negotiable date night, unless him and I are both traveling for work, which
Yes.
sometimes happens. But we go on date night, and that is where we don't talk about business and we
Mhm.
don't talk about our kids. We just reconnect like we're dating. Like,
Love it.
it makes me have a crush on him so bad. And
Oh yeah.
sometimes there's been seasons in my marriage that I loved him, I did not like him. Like, I don't know if anybody's in this space right now where, like, even your husband's breathing is annoying you. I have been there, and just so you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel and that those
Yes.
butterflies can come back. I
Oh my
feel like
gosh.
there's a respect and here's a oh, I'm gonna cry.
Oh.
Doing hard things with your spouse, my husband calls it trauma bonding, but
Mm.
we have bonded in such a way that we trust each other in different ways. Like,
Mhm.
we are each other's ride or die.
I
Like,
love
we
it.
will bicker in one thing and then have a love fest in the other, right?
Yes, yes.
And so I would say date night. I love the way that my husband is a dad, which
Mm.
is so sexy to me.
It is,
Like, the
yeah.
way he shows up for my kids is like amazing. Like, he does
Oh,
one-on-ones with my kids. So like we have Sawyer Sunday, Maverick Monday, Tucker Tuesday, Judah May Thursday, and Finley Friday. And they each get a little bit of his time. Sometimes they're playing Legos. Sometimes he takes them to the CVS. For some
yeah.
reason, they love to get the snacks from the
And the
CVS.
long receipt.
Yeah. Oh, so long.
Just kidding.
All of the cube. I mean, he never uses my phone number to get all
Oh,
the
shoot,
points
shoot,
either. I
shoot.
know. Dang. But, like, he's had that special connection, special time, which also helps me have time. When it's
Yes.
me with 4 kids, it's a lot easier than me with 5 kids, and so he's
Yeah.
given me that space.
Uh,
Um, and then I do self-care. He implemented something called Queen's Day. Like,
oh,
randomly, he'll give me a Queen's
can
Day.
we put that on the official calendar, please,
You
for the
should.
world? Okay.
I feel like every woman on the planet needs a Queen's Day.
Yes.
And, when we were doing the Unicorn Squad, which we still do, but it's not open to the public right this second, but,
Yeah.
I gave my unicorns, I said, "Dream about your favorite self-care. No money limits, like,
Right.
let's just dream," right? And I found it very amazing that when my unicorns got to dream big about their special self-care, they didn't wanna go to Paris, they didn't want a new Louis Vuitton bag, they didn't, wanna eat a five-star Michelin
Yeah.
meal. They wanted a nap.
Oh my
They
gosh.
wanted some coffee. They wanted and so it's these little things that we can take no matter what your bank account says, no matter what your time frame says, you can
Yeah.
take a little moment of self-care to reset and restore. And so
Yeah.
I think that's really important and powerful. More
I
powerful
agree.
than you probably believe it to be. There's probably people that are like, "Oh, I can't do that," or
Yeah.
"That won't really help," but it does. So,
Right. I love it. One of my favorite things is just taking a bath.
oh,
I'm
me
like,
too,
give me
girl.
a Lush bath bomb and a book, like not my phone, nothing else. I just go in there and I could be in there for like an hour. My husband's like, "Are you good? Are you pruned up? Are you drowned? Like, what's, are you?" I'm like, "I'm still good."
I know, that's
I'm
why I
still
got my
happy.
Kindle to be a waterproof Kindle. I'm like, I know that thing's going in the bathtub.
Oh, it is
No,
probably
it
good for
is.
sure. Oh my gosh.
Oh
I
my
love
goodness.
it.
I love a good bath,
Ah,
myself.
it's my
I think it's just
favorite.
the hot water that, like, resets my soul. It gets me
Yes.
right with Jesus.
Yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
sometimes if the wheels are falling off, my husband's like, "Do you need a hot shower?" Which means,
Oh
like, code
my
word, like,
gosh.
"Get
Yeah.
yourself right." Like, the wheels I have, like, an alter ego name for when the wheels fall off.
Are you gonna share it?
Yeah, her name is Nagatha Naggy Pants. She just
Oh
comes
my
out guns blazing, right? And she
gosh.
can't see, she's like an Eeyore. She can't see anything bright or wonderful. So sometimes she just needs to get reset. A good hot shower or a good hot bath
That is so good.
resets me, and then I can conquer the world.
And I
Or
think,
keep swinging.
yeah. And I think it's, you just gave all of us permission to say, I think it's important to actually, instead of getting frustrated and then you're like resentful and you're just like grumpy or whatever, it's like, hey, yo, I use the word yo all the time. I'll be like, yo, babe, I have to go for a walk all by myself. Or I used to do this when my kids were little. I have to go to the gym. I have to go
Oh,
get some
yeah.
retail therapy. I got to go to Target by myself for a little bit. I
Oh,
got to take a
yes.
bath. Do you know what I mean? Like, but communicating that is so much better than just holding it in until you're like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna lose my
Oh,
mind.
oh, yeah, because you can start to feel the wheels coming off. At
Yeah.
first, you might not recognize it, but then you're like, my dad used to always say, halt.
Mhm.
Never let yourself get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
I
And so,
love that. I'm stealing
yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah, do it. It's not even stealing, just use
wait,
it.
hungry,
Angry,
angry,
lonely, or
lonely,
tired.
tired. Okay, got it.
Because those things are when you can start to feel the
Funky.
wheels falling off, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I also say, like, this is the Lady Boss podcast, so a snack and a nap goes a long way too,
Oh, it
right?
does. It does.
And
Yes.
I love the new Lady Boss
Yeah.
formula
It's
with
so
the
good. So
stevia.
good. You are so
I am
awesome.
obsessed. Like, and then, I don't know about you, but I have to hide it from my kids because they
Oh,
think it's dessert. And I'm like, "No,
no.
that's mom's. This is mom's." So if we
That's
had a
my
kid
cake.
one
Yes.
where it wasn't like, yeah, I'm like, "That's mom's." So,
Oh, that is so cute. I love it. I love it. Okay, so y'all know that we are having way too much fun, but we're going to take a quick break so you can check out a very cool announcement, okay? We'll be right back. Need a quick, delicious way to fuel your day? Lady Boss Vanilla Cake Lean is the protein packed meal replacement shake that tastes like a treat, but helps you stay on track. Get your 30 serving bag in the link of the description below and start enjoying healthy made easy. All right, break's over. Woo! All right. So I hope you like that announcement. Very, very fun. So you are just like, you're just so dang cute. I could feel your energy coming through the screen and like in my headphones right now. I'm like, I love this girl so much.
oh, I love you so much.
Oh, so
So
do
fun
you?
to see your face in events. Like, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh,
I
there's my
know.
person."
Ah,
You meet people and you're just like, "You're my person."
yes, totally.
And
It's
I
the
always wanna
best.
be someone else's person too. So
Right,
I'm like,
right.
that's how I try to show
Yeah,
up. Like, at
you
the
are my
grocery
person too.
store, I'm like, I like to show up for everybody because I'm like, "You know
Yeah.
what? This is what the world needs. The world
Oh my
needs me to
gosh.
show up."
I said that to a girl at the gym yesterday. We were talking and I go, you are my person. I've literally known her for like an hour, but it was like, you have that connection. I was like,
Yeah,
we had something big in common. And it was like, we just had this look and I was like, you're my person. My
you're my
husband's like,
person.
how do you know she's your person? I'm like, I know.
Yeah, and you
It's
can
so
have lots of
funny.
people that are your person.
Yes,
I
true.
feel like
Oh my
that's what
gosh.
changes the world.
So we, since it's the Lady Boss podcast and we do talk a lot about like healthy living and things like that. So, 5 kids, you're busy, you're doing all the things. How do you fit? Do you have like a special way you like to work out, or how do you fit it in? Or are you just like
Yes.
naturally energized and looking, amazing?
No. I always joke, I'm like, anytime I see someone glowing, I'm like, "Please don't tell me it's kale.
Oh my gosh.
Please." And I do eat kale, but I am not the biggest kale fan.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't like it at all unless
I
it's
know, but I'll
no.
do it.
Okay, yeah.
I will blend it in some Lady Boss lean, so it just,
My
just for the
gosh.
benefits,
I
not
love
because
it.
there's a reason why kale was like the number one buyer of kale in the past was Pizza Hut, and it was just for garnishes. I feel like it should have could have stayed there. But no, what I do is since we live in two different places, so that's really difficult because we
Okay.
travel a lot for work
Yeah.
and we speak on stages and do different things. So we go back from Michigan to Texas.
Okay.
So when we're in Texas, we have a lifetime gym
Nice. That's a good one.
membership. Oh
Love
yeah,
it.
and I love to take bar classes and all of the
Yes.
dance classes because I used to be a dancer and
Aw,
a cheerleading coach. And so I was a cheerleader and a
fun.
cheerleading coach for 11 years. So I'm not really into I've tried the weights and I do the treadmill, but those aren't my favorite things.
Right.
Like,
You
I
do
feel
what
like,
makes you happy.
yeah, I want to do something that like is really fun for my soul to
Yes.
show up for. It hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I've really enjoyed like bar classes and different things.
I love
And then
it.
I reward myself with the sauna, do a little
Oh,
self-care
yeah.
sauna, right?
Mhm.
But when I'm in Michigan, that's a little bit trickier because I live in the middle of nowhere. And so we just mainly go for walks. We did just recently buy a trampoline, so I'll jump on the trampoline with
Fun.
the kids. Oh yeah.
And
Uh,
that's good for your body.
oh yeah. I was like hearing that it like drains the lymph nodes and all of this
Exactly.
thing. And I'm like, oh, this is health benefits. This is also really fun. And my kids think I'm a cool mom.
Oh
And
my
I'm just like,
gosh. I
my
love it.
son jokes because I made him, well, I didn't make him, but I was like, hey, you should come to my bar class with me. And he was like, moms are so weird. Like after we left, he was like, this is weird. So then my other son was like, well, I'm going to go to a bar class then. So then he came to a bar class and then he was like, that was harder than I thought it was going
Oh,
to be.
it
And I
is
was
hard.
like,
Oh, I don't
yeah.
think I could
So
walk the first time I went to a bar class.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I try to do,
I
and I
love
try to make
it.
just healthy choices,
Yeah.
and I also try not to shame myself because I am actually really
Amen.
bad at the shame game
Yes.
when I'm eating food.
Right, right.
Because, and I don't know what happened, but when I became an adult, like I've never had a sweet tooth my whole life, and it's like after I had kids, I was like a little
Yeah.
sweet monster,
Give me
and so
something.
I love the Lady Boss Lean, because that helps like kind of curb the sweet tooth, and I
Yes.
feel like I'm having a treat, and I don't feel bad about it.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So,
And there's no fun when you feel like put that guilt on yourself. You know what I mean? It's like just
yeah,
choose to have it, choose to not maybe every day or whatever. I have a little dark chocolate after dinner. That's okay. And I let it go. I
yeah.
actually I was listening to a podcast the other day on the treadmill at the gym before I lifted weights. Because
Oh,
that
I
was,
love
but I love a dance class too. I used to teach
oh,
turbo
I
kickboxing and all that. Yeah.
I love that everybody
Yeah.
loves that.
I
I'm
know.
like
I know. Oh my
I love
gosh.
everybody else's things, and I actually think,
Yes.
like, amazing. When I see some of these ladies doing this, like, there's this one thing where they go on a treadmill, they do all these things, and they lift kettlebells, and they do all these things with
Oh
an
yeah.
instructor. I'm like, "You are such a bad mama grandma." Like, I tip my hat to you. Like, if you're
Yes.
d like, and then the ropes and all these
Oh,
things. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
I used
The
to do
human
that.
body is
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, it is.
But I
No,
don't like when you're in the treadmill, they're doing the Food Network. That's disgusting, but
thank you for
continue
that.
on.
Let's digress real quick. I was on the treadmill the other day, and they had 6 or 8 TVs, and one of them was up there, and the guy's just making some meat recipe. Just did not look good, and I'm sitting there going, "Why am I watching this while I'm warming up for my workout?"
Oh,
That was so gross. Oh my gosh. But real quick about like having the guilt about food. I was listening to this podcast and he was saying there's like science, there's like evidence that says like as you're putting like a sweet in your mouth or something that you think is bad in quotes and you have like negative feelings about it, it actually is going to affect your body differently instead of saying, I'm just going to eat these French fries and I'm okay with it.
I
And that's
saw
going to
this.
affect your body differently.
I don't remember what this is, but I actually saw the same thing.
Really?
Yes, and so
Yeah.
when this is a true story. Now, this is not good advice, what I'm about to say, everybody. So maybe some of you need to earmuff it, but
Oh my
I was
gosh.
thinking of this and talking to myself like positively of how I think of food, right?
Mhm.
And my daughter was like, "Hey, mommy, I made you a s'more." And I had a
Yum.
choice to make in this moment, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna eat my 7-year-old s'more. She made it
Yes.
from her mama,
Right.
but I'm also gonna feel great about it because I
Yes.
didn't eat 75 s'mores and I didn't have a bad day. So I'm gonna feel great about it." And you know what? I did.
I
No
love
guilt.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
What
took that man's podcast. I don't know if it
that
works,
is
but
so
I did that
crazy.
thing. That's
I
so
think it
crazy.
was Model Health Show. I'm not sure, but I was like, "Amen." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let it go. I sing that song all the time, by the way. Like, I'm not going to do it right now. My voice is not
Yeah.
working very well today, but let it go. And also, like, sometimes I'm like, I'm working out, I'm eating my best. I'm not perfect. My workouts aren't going to be perfect. I'm never perfect, but I'm here showing up. I'm doing all the hard things and I'm going to enjoy food. And I would never say no to my 7-year-old either. You know what I mean? Could you imagine? You're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have said no. I have said no. We're like, "Mommy, you can't do that right now," or "Mommy's
Yeah.
this," and,
Right.
like, going on fad diets and stuff, and I'm
Mhm.
like, also, how do I wanna show up for my girls? Like,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
such a obsessed like, I wanna show up and be really mindful and demure
Yes.
about food, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
and so I don't wanna shame like, the way I shame myself, my daughters are watching that.
Mhm.
So, like,
Absolutely.
they're watching my eating habits as well.
Yeah.
And so I need to, like, make sure I'm not gonna guilt myself, but I'm gonna make sure that I am showing my kids great examples.
Yeah,
I
instead
do
of being
excel
like, yeah.
sometimes, but not all as much as I should. So,
No, that they're watching for sure. I've talked about that on previous podcasts where it's like, I have a daughter, and I taught fitness for a bunch of years, and I remember like looking in the mirror one day and out loud I said, "Oh gosh, I look fat," and she's
mhm.
like, "What?" Or like, "I can't eat that because it's this." Like, what am I teaching her? Do you know what I mean? I feel so,
Yeah.
we screw up as moms, of course, but then I finally got my brain together. I was like, she's listening, she's watching. I need to be this example to her. And so
Mhm.
it's kind of crazy. And guess what? She actually remembers those moments, which is
Ugh,
crazy. And I'm just
it
like,
is
"Oh,
crazy.
so sorry, but I didn't know I was doing it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
recently I was doing something and I had my belly out and, my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, she was like, "Ooh, look at that belly," and she didn't say it the way that I thought it.
oh, got it.
She didn't
Hmm.
say it like I think she was just like, "Oh, a belly out," like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
but
yes.
I took it as, like, super, like, offensive, and I had a
Hmm.
moment to catch myself
Yeah.
and to be like and alls I said is, "You know what? This belly is amazing. It's had 5 babies. Isn't that amazing?"
Yes.
And she was like, "Yeah, that is amazing. Hot belly." Like, she was, like, talking to it, and I
Oh,
don't think she meant it. Like, I was jumping to the conclusion, like, she thinks my belly's fat. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah,
yeah.
all the things, but maybe she was just saying, "Oh, belly out," like,
Yes.
and
Oh,
and I was like, "You know what? This belly is very powerful because
yeah,
it had
yeah. I
y'all." And
love
she was
that.
like, "Ah," like, then she was, like, so excited
That's
about it.
so good.
This is how we want my girls to look at their
Yeah,
bodies, right?
right. Or like, "Oh, I have strong legs, so I can do these things." I have,
Yeah.
whatever our bodies are. It's like, yeah, I love that. That's looking at it in that positive way is so much better. It serves us better, and it serves our kids who are watching so much
Yeah.
better. That is magical. Oh my
And
goodness.
and it's also just hard, like, catching ourselves in those moments,
Mhm.
right? Like, social media is so tricky. Like, I'm saying all these things, like, guilt is tricky mom guilt is tricky, and not being enough is guilty, and that also the way that we look at ourselves is very tricky because we're
Yeah.
always comparing ourselves to Facebook filters
Yes.
and
Highlight reels.
skinny, tiny teenagers, right? Like,
Yes.
but, like, I need to be just happy in the season that I am, and I think I
Love
am. I
that.
think
I
I'm
love
getting
that.
there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And, because I'm an empty nester, I have, like, this perspective of, like, be there for every season as much as you can, and I feel like the old lady in the room because I always
Yeah.
tell people, I'm like, "My kids are gone." Like,
Yeah.
and it is so crazy. So, like, even those moments that you wanna cry, you wanna hide, you wanna scream, you wanna lose it, it's like, "Okay, there's never gonna be another day like this. There's never gonna be another chaotic moment like this. There's never going." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
here I am, we have it's Kevin and I, and it's like, "Oh," I, like, miss it, and I'm like, "Did I handle it right back then? I have no idea. I did the best I could." But it's just cool, and all these seasons, it's like
Yeah.
up and down, right? Don't you think? It's all highs and lows and
Oh,
everything.
I yes, and I already am starting to feel some of that because, my son is a senior and
Oh,
getting
yeah.
ready to go live his
Mm.
life, and I am so excited for grandbaby season. I can't contain myself, and I have 7 to
Oh.
17, so I'm not there yet,
Oh,
but I'm
yeah.
already, like, trying to train my brain, like, "Get hyped, girl, get hyped.
Yes.
Let
Oh, you're
them
gonna be
go
so fun.
find great spouses and,
Yes.
go
Yeah.
change the world and
Yeah.
bring back grandbabies." That's what I'm thinking, but I even feel that way when I see a ooey squishy baby.
Mhm.
And, like, I'm like, "Oh, it's a freshie, right? It's a fresh one, everybody."
Yes.
And I see these moms who I try to be very helpful, like, even when I'm in the grocery store, like, some people are weird about strangers helping, but, like, if I see a mom that's, like, losing her mind, I'm like, "How can I help you?" Because
Aw.
I feel like as women in this stage, like, we need to help the younger moms
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
even like even to the point where it's like, "Hey, how can I help you?" Like, my friend had, her baby had open heart surgery, and I was like,
Mm.
"How can I help you? What do you need? Do you need your
Mhm.
house cleaned?" I mean, I think
Right.
new moms, we should be paying for their house to get cleaned at least once before I paid for my
Yeah.
one, um, friend to get her house cleaned, so when she brought her baby home, like,
Mm.
she'd have a clean house. Like, there's these things that we could start thinking outside of the
Yes.
box. Like, meal trains are so cool. Like,
Yes. I was just gonna
we
say
need
meal
to,
train.
like, encourage other mothers because we know what that's like. "Hey, do you want me to hold your
Yes.
baby so you can
Yes.
shower, so you can take a
Yes.
nap?" So,
Yes.
I guess I'm
Yes.
just trying to encourage you, Molly, like,
I love that.
you still have great years in you.
I do.
You have
And yeah, I know.
grandparent
I
issue.
know. Although
You
my kids are like, "We don't want an equite yet." I'm like, "Dang it." But I have a grand dog. Well, my daughter's not even married, but I call it my grand dog. He's 3 pounds and he's adorable. Um,
oh, grand dogs count. Grand dogs count for sure.
oh my gosh. You know what I was going to say too about when you see like young moms or whatever, I'll even just use words to them. Like if they're sitting
Yeah.
there on a walk, instead of being on their phone, they're talking to their kid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that you're talking to your kid. That's amazing. Like that's beautiful to
Yeah.
see. Or, God, you look so pretty today,
Mhm.
or gosh, I love how, whatever. I'll give her
Yeah.
something because it's like she's
Oh,
out there trying to survive. And if another woman could breathe life into her and recognize them and see them, they're just going to be like, so we call that sparkle, in Lady Boss,
oh,
but it is
oh,
like such a cool thing, like here it's like do all that as much as you can. And if people think you're weird, who cares? Right.
oh, and you know what? If people who need a little bit of hope
Yeah.
goes a long ways. Hope
Mm-hmm.
puts fuel in the tank. Sparkle puts fuel in the tank.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if you never see, I had people help me crying baby and in the grocery store, 3 kids,
Yeah. Oh
wrangling them. And I've had
gosh.
women help me along the journey. Um, and it's just so powerful. It's like gives you a breath of fresh air.
Yes. Yes. And you just go, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And
uh,
I just saw a mom recently, she was in the self-checkout and she had helpers. When you go to the self-checkout and you have kids, you have helpers. You ring things up 3 times. You overpay Walmart or whatever,
oh
right?
my
Like,
gosh.
and she's there and I said, and I knew her. I haven't seen her in a few years. And she's like, I said, "Oh my goodness, look at you, how beautiful your family
Yeah.
is," and stuff. And she was like, "Thank you. It's not going well." And I said, "Oh,
Oh
tell me more." Like, cause
yeah.
even just stopping and like
Yes.
talking, I said, she's like, "We just didn't survive the storm." I said, "I don't know, mama. You have 3 healthy
Oh
kids right here. You look like you're crushing it." And I didn't even know the difference. And so then I'm like, and I said, "Hey, keep changing the world because that's what you did today." And she just like
oh
started to get teary eyed. I'm like, because she did.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that makes and now chills again. You've given me chills like 5
Oh,
times and tears in my eyes. Thank you. This is so fun to talk with you. So now we're talking about that. I have like in your life and with your marriage and business and kids, like when you have challenges, like what have been some of how have you overcome them? Has it been like your faith? Has it been your relationship? Are there different things that you go to and you're like, this is hard, like extra hard? What do?
I 100% have to say it's Jesus.
Mhm.
Like, it's a Jesus take the wheel. My husband is also, um my husband and my family have been great support systems, and his family as well. And
That's
so,
awesome.
like, we have great support. We have great friends, great people who believe in the mission that we're trying to do. So,
Love
like,
it.
the tribe that we have created has really shown up for us. And
Nice.
so, in those, but sometimes they don't know. One time, my friend called me and she said, "I am so mad at you. I could just come to Texas and just freak out." And I said, "Okay, why?" She goes, "How come I had to find out that you were having a hard time through XYZ
Mm.
and you didn't call me?" And she's like, "If you ever do that again, we can't be friends." And I was like, "Ooh, that was like kind of hurtful." But at the same time, she's like, she was right.
Yeah.
She just
Yeah.
wanted me to like be honest and real with
I love
her.
that.
And so I was like, you know what? That was actually a really cool moment that we just had. I think our friendship just got, because she
Yeah.
was big enough to say, "I don't want you to go through hard things alone."
Ah,
Um,
and you don't have to just come to me when everything's good. Like,
yeah,
come to me through it all. That's, like, such a solid friend.
yeah,
That's
and we don't
beautiful.
always. I didn't wanna, like, dump things on her,
Right,
'cause she's
right.
she's actually a young mom, she's younger than me, and, like, in the midst of all the chaos,
Yeah.
the way that she said that to me, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's a real friend,"
Oh,
because
yeah. That is
she
so
wants to love
nice.
me in my hard moments. But so I would say my number one thing is Jesus. He's been
Yeah.
there, um my whole life, since I was a teenager, and really got me through the hard times. But then my husband helping me systemize certain things,
I love that.
and like showing up for me in
Mhm.
great ways. And then my tribe.
Yeah. I
I mean,
love
you
that.
gotta find a tribe. If people don't
Yeah.
have a tribe, that's the number one thing, is finding a tribe that like loves you and celebrates you
Yes.
and
Yep.
and shares sparkle with you. And when you have sparkle, they clap and cheer.
Totally. Hang out
Because
with
if
people
you
that
have
clap for you.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you have people in your life and when you win, they don't clap and cheer, they are not good tribe members. They're not good people to have,
Mm.
like,
Yep.
if they only wanna come around when the drama happens, I'm sorry. You got to
That
cut
is
some
so
people
good. Mhm.
out. So,
And I think, like, taking thinking about your tribe every so often and being like, "Are these people good for me? I
yeah.
know that they're still there. Are they good for me?" And then if they're not, you just spend less time. You know what I mean? I've talked about it in a couple like, podcasts ago. Like you just have to be like a little less time, and then who is fueling me? Who believes in me? Who gets me? Who do I
Yeah.
love being around? Spend time around them. The people who breathe life into your dreams
Yeah.
instead of like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Sorry,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like those people, and inside they're actually just jealous that you have the guts, the balls, whatever the word is, to go and make it happen. So hang out with the people who want you to create that life, right? That you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like super hard to do.
Mhm.
And
It
then
is.
super hard to do, but so beneficial.
Mhm.
I remember when my husband had started, becoming an entrepreneur, people were saying, "Oh, that's cute. Like, when's he going to get a real job?" And I remember
Yes.
like the second or third coffee date when someone thought that they had a great time to like intervene and like cause doubt in my head. I was like, you know what? I don't think this friendship's working out
Oh.
because I want to stay with him way
Yeah.
longer. So I'm going to support his dreams, be the loudest cheerleader, clap and cheer. But that is weighing on how I'm showing up. Like
Yeah.
that doubt that they've whispered in my ears. So if people are having doubt, if you're having something repeat in your head that it was not from your own voice, those might be people you need to cut out of your life.
Mm.
And it's hard to do, but
Yeah.
like so beneficial. And then I do have another part of talking about
Yes.
the tribe.
Tell.
If you want your tribe to show up for you, you have to show up for your tribe.
Yes.
You also attract people that will give you the same energy, right? Like
Mhm.
if you're doom and gloom, you're going to be attracting doom and gloom people. If
Yes.
you're sparkle
Yes.
people, you're going to be attracting sparkle people. And I do think you can make a choice to change the circles you're in.
Yep.
And so find those people. Maybe
Yep.
you're not like a super positive person, but you're like, I want more of that in my life. Maybe you need to find somebody who's a little bit challenges who you are and start surrounding yourself with people that are going
Mm.
somewhere, doing something.
That is so good. That is so good. Yeah, I love that very, very much. I'm not even going to elaborate on that. I want people to hear that, like go replay that again because that was just like gold. And I think that's so important. And also teaching that to our kids is amazing. You know, if they could learn that before they're 40, they're winning.
Oh my
You know what
goodness.
I mean? Like that's amazing.
I
Yeah.
feel like if people could learn that before they're 5.
Yeah.
Although, I actually learn things from my kids too.
Mhm.
I also think that being a good student of like just the way that kids make friends. I mean, like
Yes.
my famous quote, this is an Ashlee Latimer quote, but I stole it somewhere. I don't know who I stole it from, but I say it all the time. And now
Oh my
people quote
gosh.
me on it.
Please say
If
it. Tell
you
us.
want to make friends, you have to be friendly.
Mm.
And my kids teach me how to be a friend. Like my daughter Judah, the other day at a Chick-fil-A on the way to the ocean, she met this kid and she goes, "I just met 3 best friends." I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like the way you showed up for them. And I said, "What are your 3 best friends' names?" And she named 2 of them and she goes, "And the third one, not sure yet, but still
Oh.
great." And I was like, that's how I want to show up. So we can
Oh.
also learn things from our kids too.
Yes, that
So,
is so cute.
yeah.
Why we should get excited every time we meet someone and be like, "Yes, I'm
Yes.
gonna have a whole different outlook now when I meet someone." And be like, "Yes." Actually, yeah, I actually did that the other day. I won't lie. I went to a tennis class and we went to a new place to take tennis anyway. And I walking from my car to the clinic, I was like, I'm going to make 3 new friends and I'm going to get an invite to brunch. Like I was just like putting it out there. Right.
Okay,
And I'm going to
well, if
have,
you ever
oh,
wanna do brunch,
what?
I'm
Yeah,
watching.
that, and I was like, and I'm gonna crush it. I'm gonna play so well. Like I literally said these things out loud. Don't laugh, but I made 3 new friends.
Of
I
course you
played
did.
really well, and I got invited to brunch. But
Yes.
you have to also decide too. Like another way I could have gone to that class was like, oh, I'm gonna be the new girl. This is gonna suck, and yeah, everyone else is already friends.
Mhm.
Totally 2 different
Yeah,
scenarios. So it's like our mind is so powerful. Everything that
so
then
powerful.
you put out there, like, be my friend. So that's a whole other podcast,
And
Ashley.
let's
You're gonna have
just
to come back.
okay, I will, and I will just tell you, like, even if you made no friends and got invited to brunch, that would be still awesome. Or you didn't get invited to brunch and you made 1 friend, like, you're still winning.
Right. Any of it was a win. But I was like,
Any of
I
those
remember my husband checked in. He goes, "How was it?" I go, "It was everything that I like manifested going into it," which is so weird. And he's like, "None of that is weird. You're putting out there what you want in your life. And
Yeah.
so I think that's really, really cool.
I think people need to start doing that now,
Mhm.
and I think what happens is women don't believe it,
Mhm.
and so they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna try it out," and they're like, "Well, I want a Lamborghini by Friday." I'm like, "Okay, let's start small, everybody."
Oh
Like,
my
let's
gosh.
just start small, like, you
Yes.
know what? I want to, like,
Yeah.
wow 3 people with my smile,
Y
or,
and you
like,
will,
you
because
will.
you're
I
gonna
wanna make
smile.
one friend. I
Yeah.
wanna, like,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
there's lots of different things. So I think starting
yeah.
small and, like, taking like,
Yes.
just showing up,
I
calling
know.
your shot. I mean,
I'm
if you
all
want
about
a
that.
Lamborghini by Friday, they can try to manifest
You
that.
would have to go buy a lot of lottery tickets at least to have some effort there. But
Yeah.
anyway, oh my
Oof.
gosh, you are so cute. Okay, well, y'all, we have had the best time. Ashlee is the cutest, like most energetic, magnetic. I like that you're silly too. That's you and I are both silly, so I love that. Like I love that. I love your sense of humor. I love that you're real. I love that you value your family, your kids, that you want to help others, and that you are not just living the dream, but you're also teaching others to like make their dreams come true as well. So like it's so awesome. You're like one of my favorites. So now will you tell everyone where they can find you like on social and all of that? Because you know they're gonna be like, I need to have more of this lady in my life.
My name is Ashlee Latimer, and so it's at Ashlee Latimer, but it's with 2 E's, Ashlee, Latimer. You can come be my friend. I don't do like it's not like you're following me. It's like, "Do you wanna be my friend? Yes or no?"
Yes,
I'm
I
not
know.
great at
Yeah.
Instagram, everybody. I'm still learning, and then I'm also on Facebook, Ashlee Latimer, and then honorandfire.com, but it's not really launched yet. It's gonna be in the few weeks, but
We're
right now
excited
we're just
about
working
that.
on you probably see my face on, like, warplan.com instead right
Yeah.
now, but that's
Oh,
our other company, so yeah.
well, you're just awesome. This has been worth the wait, by the way. And thank you again for just being so real. And I mean, we all like, we need more women like you in our own personal tribe. So everybody go find your Ashlee. In the meantime, you can be friends with her on social always, but go and take what we've talked about and implement it into your life. I'm always like, yes, I want to learn, but it's the doing that's actually going to change your life. So go
Yeah,
and do the things that Ashlee has shared with us. So anyway, thank you so much. This has
thank
been
you.
amazing.
Oh, it's been so fun for me, so thank you so much for having me. I don't know
Aw.
why I waited so
Ah,
long. I was
no,
just up inside my head, so
let's
I'm
get
so
out of our
glad.
heads, y'all. I
I
love it. I
know.
love it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. I think we stopped it. Okay, that was so fun.
Okay, well,
You're
thank you.
adorable.
Oh my gosh, no. I was like, so